along Washington's coast. A new study says a major earthquake could cause coastal areas to suddenly sink several feet. Harold Tobin with the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network says towns like Ocean Shores and Long Beach could drop up to 6 feet. KIRO 7 TV reports that means much higher flood risks overnight. Emergency managers are now scrambling to build evacuation zones before the big one hits.
Seattle Public Library closed at all locations today. It's for annual staff training, team building. SPL says book drops will be open, but all branch parking garages will be closed except for the Central Library downtown. Regular hours resume tomorrow.
It's 6:33, and time to get back to the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. What do you have for us, Chris?
Well, we got a lot of sun glare out there, actually, which is causing some slowing. That's one of the reasons why we're a little slow through Tacoma. I haven't found any other reason for it, but we're running 25 minutes from Tacoma up to Federal Way, so that's behind schedule by 15 minutes there. Once you get through that, we've got about a 45 to 50-minute trip from Federal Way to Seattle. Sun glare is all I can find in the DOT as well on eastbound 512 trying to get down South Hill, but it's bumper to bumper down toward Meridian, and so we're seeing about a 5 or 6 minute delay there as well. Olympia to Tacoma is running 45 minutes. We've got sun glare along the way plus a new little lane configuration as you work your way into and through DuPont. Over on the peninsula, we're looking at some brake lights on westbound 16, trying to get up through Purdy. We've got the left lane blocked there just as you make your way up past the Purdy cutoff, so plan on some delays there. Coming down for the north end, we're looking at about a 45-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue, which isn't too bad. Renton to Bellevue is about 25, Valley Freeway 45. This report brought to you by Superior Linen Service, 98 years servicing quality uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Call Superior Linen Service. They answer the phone, or visit suplinen.com.
Looking forward to this one. Sunshine today. Highs in the mid-70s for Seattle. You head a bit south and we could be talking low 80s. Beautiful day. Might be one of the warmest of the year so far. Cool down a bit tomorrow and highs will be in the upper 60s. 69 the forecast high, so that's still nice and sunny tomorrow. Clouds, 55 for our high on Saturday, and the forecast for Sunday improving. Now we're thinking we'll have some afternoon sun and a high of 62. Right now in Seattle, we have clear skies, and it's 43 at 6:35.
And the opening bell now is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Family of Funds.
Thanks for joining us today. And Wednesday, the Commerce Department releases annual and initial GDP estimate showing U.S. economic growth slowed sharply in the first quarter of 2025. This is as businesses rush to stockpile goods ahead of the Trump administration's sweeping tariff policies. The nation's GDP, the total value of products and services, shrank at a 0.3 annual rate, down from growth of 2.4% in the final 3 months of last year. With the story, here's CBS News Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady.
When you strip out all of that import and export volatility, the tariff noise, the underlying economy, it's what we call core GDP, that actually rose 3% last quarter.
To defend his economic policies, including his controversial tariffs, which are already expected to cause toy shortages for Christmas.
Much of it we don't need. You know, somebody said, oh, the shelves are going to be open. Well, maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, you know. And maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally.
At a cabinet meeting yesterday, Trump went on to say his tariffs, for the most part, have not kicked in yet.
The economic agreement signed yesterday by the United States and Ukraine provides for profit sharing from future sales of Ukraine's mineral and energy reserves. It does not provide security guarantees, but Kyiv believes it does incentivize Washington to invest in Ukraine's defense and reconstruction. This is according to the BBC's John Donison in Kyiv.
This is a business deal. It's an economic deal. It's not a peace deal, and the fighting is ongoing.
Boeing 787 Dreamliner has reached a milestone. The company says the wide-body jets have now flown more than 1 billion passengers in less than 14 years. The Dreamliner fleet consists of nearly 1,200 planes. They've flown nearly 5 million flights.
And looking at Wall Street right now, after positive earnings numbers from Wall Street, we're seeing stocks on the upswing, especially on the tech-heavy NASDAQ. NASDAQ is ahead by 1.8%. That's 316 points. The S&P 500 is ahead by 51, which is 1%. And Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 231 points, which is 0.57%.
A word now from KIRO 7 TV. KIRO 7 News. Watch KIRO 7 News news at 4, 5, and 6, only on KIRO 7 TV.
News matters. Experience counts. You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
And this is the fun story of the morning. Seattle has a new sports franchise.
Love it.
Yeah, the Professional Women's Hockey League has added Seattle and Vancouver, BC as expansion teams. Amy Shear is the league's VP of Business Operations.
We really hope Seattle and Vancouver develop a pretty cool rivalry.
No official team name yet for Seattle. They'll play at Climate Pledge Arena, and the new season coming soon. It begins this fall.
It's kind of a built-in rivalry. I mean, to add them both at the same time is really fun.
Oh, yeah. Those stinking Vancouver, BC. Yeah, I've already got a strong outrage just thinking of them.
I can tell. Hey, have we really gone this far this morning without talking about the Mariners?
Yes.
Who just keep on rolling.
Mariners win 9-3 over the Angels. Mariners have won 7 series in a row.
Don't you mean the first place Mariners, improving to 18-12? They're off today before hitting the road for a weekend series against the Rangers.
And I'm really taking what G told us yesterday to heart.
Enjoy it.
We got to enjoy being in the moment. A lot of times we're not in this moment, so let's love it while we can.
Yes, I'm all in.
All right, Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
Well, we're blaming it on the sun so far today, at least down in Pierce County. That's what's causing the delays through Tacoma. We'll break it down for you next.
The opening bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
Seattle's trusted news source, KIRO Newsradio.
Today is May Day, and Seattle police are preparing for the annual marches through downtown. It's possible more demonstrators take part this year, the first May Day under President Trump's second term.
This is Nate Connors. If things get hairy out there, I'll have you covered with traffic every 10 minutes on the 3s, all afternoon during your ride home.
Coverage you depend on. KIRO Newsradio. On 97.3 FM, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-371-0505. 800-371-0505.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Enjoy your drive home with the John Curley Show.
You don't realize the connection you make through radio. Just this thing where people are stuck in their car and you develop this relationship.
Weekday afternoons from 3 to 7 on KIRO Newsradio.
If you're thinking about renovating an attic, spending more time in your sunroom, or building onto your home, a Carrier ductless unit is the perfect solution for climate control. It's efficient, quiet, and incredibly flexible when it comes to installation because there's no ductwork required. It's just one more way we're making your home totally comfortable.
Your local Carrier heating and cooling dealer will improve your home's comfort, air quality, and efficiency. Visit CarrierNorthwest.com to find the expert near you. Carrier, turn to the experts.
6:43 now. Let's head over to the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk where Sully's keeping an eye on the road.
And it's hard to keep an eye on the roads this morning. There's a lot of sun glare out at this particular moment. So it's going to be such a beautiful day. But yeah, that's the price we pay for the next probably 30 minutes or so. It's right at that certain angle. That's all I can find, and that's all the DOT can find for a couple of our slowdowns this morning. One of them is in Tacoma, where you're hitting you kind of come around the corner by the dome, and then you get exposed to the light right there, and that's kind of where you hit it. So you remember, even though you're on I-5 northbound at that point, you're facing dead east as you drive through downtown Tacoma. So don't forget that. But we're backed up, and it's 25 minutes to go from Tacoma to Federal Way. That's 15 minutes slower than normal. We're also blaming the sun for the breaks as you come around the corner past the fairgrounds on eastbound 512. We're backed up pretty significantly and losing about 8 minutes working your way through Puyallup. Now, if you're continuing up the corridors there, Federal Way to Seattle's running right around 50 minutes. Kind of a garden variety day for you guys. Northbound 167 has got about 45 with 25 to 28 of those minutes from South Center. Rented to Bellevue is getting closer to a half an hour now. Over Tiger Mountain, we're definitely seeing the slowing that we've gotten used to. Coming down from the north end, about 50 minutes now from Everett to Bellevue, and 45 from Everett to Seattle. The brake lights there are kind of spotty off and on. And we do have a pretty significant backup on westbound 16 coming out of Gig Harbor into Purdy. We've got the left-hand lane blocked there right past 144th as you work your way kind of past the transfer center, if you know in that general direction, before you kind of get up to Burley. So plan on some delays there. This report brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Lake Washington Windows makes it easy to enjoy efficient new windows now and defer paying for them for 12 months with zero down, zero payment, zero interest. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Well, KIRO Newsradio meteorologist Ted Beener is going to be the hero of the day. He's going to join us here in just a moment, but I will tell you it's going to be sunny and 73, warmer in the south end, possibly around 80 in Olympia. Right now in Seattle, sunshine and 46.
Don't steal Ted's thunder.
Sorry, just wanted to do a brief little thing there.
Okay, well, he might get upset.
Well, he can tell us what's going to happen next week because we might have another warm-up. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, that's the tease we want. 6:45 now. We head over to the news desk with Katrina Gashard.
Snohomish County is getting ready to launch a new emergency radio system. It's a massive upgrade for first responders. That's years in the making. The new technology can handle twice as much radio traffic and includes upgrades like smart batteries and the ability to filter out fire engine noise. The new radio system is set to officially launch on Tuesday, May 6th. Meantime, Washington State Patrol is testing out some new technology of their own to alert drivers of emergency vehicles. This pilot program will be in the North Bend area, testing out a system called Safety Cloud. It delivers real-time digital alerts when emergency vehicles are approaching or on scene. Safety Cloud will deliver automatic warnings in the navigation apps like Waze and Apple Maps. Those alerts will also appear on some newer model vehicle dashboards.
Okay, thank you, Katrina. Amanda, you know how Sully likes calling it a Milli Vanilli day?
Oh, yeah.
When it's raining out.
But today we're blaming it on the sun.
Yeah, well, no. Why don't we just call this a Beatles day?
Oh, okay. Here comes the sun. Gotcha.
There we go. We'll talk about it with Ted Beener. He's coming up on Seattle's Morning News.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's a new year, but many seniors are struggling with the same old problem: high prices and rising property taxes. We're here with our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage, and he says a reverse mortgage may be the answer.
Many seniors cannot afford to stay in the home they love.
A reverse mortgage gives them access to equity in their home without having to sell. They can pay off their mortgage if they have one and maybe pull some extra cash out of their home. And best of all, they have no mortgage payment the rest of their life.
But as you always say, a reverse mortgage is not for everyone.
That's right. Avoid the high-pressure sales pitch from those out-of-state call centers. I give you a consultation, not a sales pitch. I'll tell you if a reverse mortgage is right for you, and I always tell you if it's not.
Honest advice you can trust from the reverse mortgage experts. Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts and debt consolidation specialists too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
For more than 50 years, the voice Seattle trusts. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
I named that tune.
I need this too. I need this today.
Beautiful. I'm ready for sunshine and 70s. How about you?
I'll take it.
Yeah. KIRO News Radio meteorologist Ted Beener is with us to explain what we can expect for the rest of the week. First, talk about the heat wave that lasts, one day today, Ted? Oh, do we have Ted? I think we lost Ted.
We lost Ted.
I was so excited to talk about the weather. I kind of geek out about this stuff.
It is going to be so nice today. We've been talking about his article on mynorthwest.com. Here's what we do know is that today we're expecting to have sunshine, highs in the mid-70s in Seattle.
If you're in the South Sound,
that's what's so cool.
80 in Olympia.
Yeah, which I will take west of Shelton. But then tomorrow.
Oh,
I hear Ted.
Now I hear Ted. Ted, you with us?
Yes, I am.
Hey, nice to hear your voice.
Well, I just was in the midst of saying, welcome aboard, Manda. I have not had a chance to chat with you since you came on board.
Thank you. It's lovely to chat with you. I haven't talked to you for a while.
It has been a while, absolutely.
Well,
anyway, back to our weather.
Yes, please.
We're going to go for the mid-70s today, our warmest so far this year. You might remember it was just a week ago we hit 72 degrees. So just a couple of more degrees today. Going to be down at 77 down at Olympia. Some of our Cascade foothill locations and down towards Portland getting closer to 80 degrees. So definitely our warmest of the year thus far.
But this is going to be short-lived, Ted?
Yeah, we'll cool it down just a few degrees tomorrow. We've got another Pacific weather system that's lurking offshore. It'll come on shore late Friday, tomorrow night. We'll get a little bit of rain. It'll taper off on Saturday. So Saturday will be our coolest day of the weekend. Temperatures getting back down into the 50s. And then Sunday, that's the better day of the 2 days. We'll start to warm things back up into the lower 60s. And as Manda was teasing, yes, we're going to be back around 70 degrees or so by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday of next week.
Careful, might get used to it. We mentioned the South Sound will be a little bit warmer. What makes that so?
It's basically because it's, number one, it's further south, but if you get what's called offshore flow from the mountains towards the ocean, it's a little bit more enhanced in that area, thanks to Mount Rainier in part. You got higher terrain right there. So it tends to be a little bit warmer there. But it's also a lot cooler in the mornings down in the South Sound and down towards Centralia and Chehalis, again, because of Mount Rainier.
Okay, we don't need you to be a Debbie Downer, but it is also drier out. So is this abnormally dry, or what should we expect from this?
Well, I hate to say it, but April finished drier than normal again, and I'm looking at Everett Payne Field as probably our worst case. That was their fourth month in a row of below average precipitation, had just over 4 inches of rain for the entire year right now. That is only 31% of normal. And right now, the National Drought Monitor folks have got much of Puget Sound and the Cascades in abnormally dry or moderate drought conditions. The Department of Ecology declared a drought for selected parts of eastern Washington about 3 weeks ago, such as the Yakima Basin. And we need the rain. I hate to say it. We love this sunshine, etc. Great time to go up and look at the tulips with the extended season up there in the Skagit Valley. But nevertheless, we do need the rain. And our mountain snowpack came in below average as well. So just kind of exasperating the situation.
So are we looking for a warmer than normal spring and summer?
At this point, yeah. Again, good odds on a warmer than normal rest of this spring into the summer, precipitation-wise, at or maybe just a little bit below average. And this is just continuing a trend that we've had so far this century.
And just break that down for us in terms of it being warmer and drier, and you say drought. What does that mean for people like you and me? Not just meteorologically, but what does that mean for our summer? Is it just we've got brown lawns, or is it something more extensive?
Well, this is something where I would encourage everyone, use water conservatively if you could throughout the rest of this spring and summer. Extend what we have in place at this particular point. With regards to our mountain rivers, mountain-fed rivers, I should say, we're going to have some issues there. Agriculture, hence the drought declaration that the Department of Ecology did for the Yakima Valley Basin. Also for recreation. So be conservative with your water as you go. If you're going to wash your car, maybe take it through a car wash versus out there in the driveway at this particular point. And then from the wildfire perspective, this has an increased chance of extending both on the front end and the back end of our wildfire season. So it may start earlier and extend longer into the fall. And of course, 6 out of our last 8 summers, we've had wildfire smoke, something I don't remember experiencing until it started in 2017.
All right, Ted, thanks for spending some time with us this morning. We appreciate it. KIRO News Radio meteorologist Ted Beener.
Chris Sullivan is at the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk, and he says use a car wash. Don't do it in your driveway, Sully.
Well, I wasn't going to do that, but now I could cross power washing the driveway off the list. Looking at the drive in Tacoma now, it turns out in addition to sun glare, we actually have a crash on the ramp from from northbound I-5 to 705 getting into downtown Tacoma. It's right before the bridge, so plan on some delays there through the CD lanes. And then you've got about 25 minutes to go from Tacoma to Federal Way. Behind that, 45 minutes from Olympia to Tacoma. That's plus 15, and then Federal Way to Seattle's running over 50. As we approach 7 o'clock, we've got a 50-minute trip from Everett to Bellevue, about 48 from Everett to Seattle. The Valley Freeway from end to end, nothing surprising you guys, 50 minutes there, and then about 35 to go from Renton to Bellevue. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Sunny and 46 in Seattle right now. Again, we're headed for a high today in Seattle of 73.
Coming up, more of the day's top national stories. That will be from CBS News. And then coming up, we will talk about the federal investigation into the Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction. What that's all about is on the way as the morning news continues on this Thursday, May 1st on KIRO News Radio.
She and Ursula agree to disagree.
This is happening until we do a better job at addressing affordable housing.
We're spending more money on homelessness, and yet it does keep getting worse.
Weekday mornings at 11:06 on KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
My wife and I have been married for over 15 years, and I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after I turned 40, things started feeling different. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and I just wasn't interested in sex anymore. My wife told me her friend's husband went through the same thing, and it turns out he had low testosterone. So we booked a free T-check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that my testosterone levels were low too. We worked with a provider to create a custom treatment plan, and today, my wife and I are having more fun than we did on our honeymoon. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song! I love these nachos. I love our kickball league! Ugh! I love this guy! What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Hey there, I'm Phil Briggs, Navy veteran and host of CBS Eye on Veterans weekly radio show and podcast. And I often think of my old boss in the Navy, Commander Reed, especially when I'm trying to motivate my kids. Now I know how he must have felt trying to motivate me. This Military Appreciation Month, Navy Federal Credit Union wants to celebrate those who go above and beyond for us every day. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/celebrate. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
Are you looking at diversification and stability with your investment portfolio, especially with the volatility right now in the stock market? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years. We've had zero investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given market conditions. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Legacy's Northwest Fund also accepts IRA accounts as well. Find out why over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Get in touch with us today. Legacy's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Michael Wallace. The White House is touting the new minerals deal the U.S. and Ukraine have signed. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
This partnership represents the United States taking an economic stake in securing a free, peaceful, and sovereign future for Ukraine.
More from CBS's Remy Inocencio.
From Ukraine's position, the hope is that this agreement, which ultimately is economic, will mean that the U.S. will be more inclined to protect its interests that it could now invest in. Basically, that Washington will want to keep its money safe and will keep defending against Russia's invasion like under the Biden administration.
Democrats blame President Trump's tariffs for the economy contracting during the first quarter. Trump blames a hangover from the Biden administration. More from CBS's Weijia Jiang.
Senate Republicans narrowly voted down a Democratic resolution Wednesday aimed at blocking Trump's tariffs. Tomorrow, another key number will add to the overall economic picture. That's when the jobs report for April is released.
This morning, we learned first-time jobless claims jumped by 18,000 last week to their highest level in 2 months. This May Day will feature anti-Trump protests across the country. CUNY law professor Shamtoli Huck.
In terms of working conditions, American workers are worse off. I think most workers today do not have guaranteed pension, health insurance.
Many of the protests will also focus on immigrants' rights. There are more flood warnings for Oklahoma today after some areas got 12 inches of rain this week. Robin Sweden is assessing the damage at her Lexington home.
I can't believe this. It's terrible. I've never seen it like this. I want to cry, because of my car.
At least 2 people have drowned in the floodwaters. That storm system is drenching the Mississippi Valley today. No need to flash your ID or phone anymore. CBS's Jim Krasula explains.
Sam Altman's iris scanning identity verification venture is here. Altman, who is CEO of OpenAI, is opening 6 flagship stores in the U.S. today, where people can sign up to have their eyeballs scanned. It's a global identity verification system that creates and stores a unique, quote, iris code for people that's intended to fight against fraud and bots.
During the Cubs-Pirates game in Pittsburgh last night, a fan fell 21 feet from the right field bleachers onto the warning track. Pirates manager Derek Shelton.
even though it's 350 feet away or whatever it is, I mean, the fact of how it went down, and it's extremely unfortunate. I mean, that's an understatement.
The man is in critical condition. The game was delayed for 10 minutes as he was treated and then carted off the field. Stocks have opened higher. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's 7:03. Let's head over to the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk with Chris Sullivan.
Hey, we got a lot of sun glare out there to deal with. It probably shouldn't be too much of an issue in about a half an hour once the sun gets a little higher. But that's one of the reasons why we've been so slow through the Tacoma area. Another reason is because we have a crash on the ramp from northbound I-5 to the 705 corridor getting into the heart of downtown Tacoma. So we're about 20 minutes from Tacoma to Federal Way. Olympia to Tacoma is running 20 minutes behind schedule. A lot of sun glare coming up the hill, and then we have a new little lane configuration up through the Stillicum-DuPont Road, so we've got a 50-minute trip there. We've got about a mile and a half, 2-mile backup now on westbound Highway 16 trying to get out of Gig Harbor. Up to Purdy, we have a left lane blocked there for a crash. Federal Way to Seattle, about an hour now, 35 minutes up to South Center. Pretty heavy through the construction zone today. Valley Freeway is about 45 to 50 minutes, depending on how you hit the volume, and then about a 30-minute trip from Renton to Bellevue. Coming down from the north end, it's not terrible on I-5 south of Mount Lake Terrace. Still pretty thick through Canyon Park on 405. So it's about 50 minutes from Everett to Seattle, about 55 from Everett to Bellevue. The lake bridges are quiet. This report brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. It treats your home like their own with a commitment that has earned over 1,000 reviews with a 5.9-star average rating. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's May 1st, and faculty and staff at Seattle area community colleges plan to walk out of their classrooms this morning.
This is all part of a national day of protest on this May Day. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch joins us in the studio with more.
Manda faculty and staff walking out of their classrooms at 10 this morning to protest working conditions and the threat of furloughs, and they will likely be joined by students. Seattle police will have their hands full today with rallies and marches happening all over the city. While no problems are expected, SPD Captain Krista Baer says they will be ready for anything.
There are people who actually signed up to be out there to assist and engage with the community and to ensure that it's being done peacefully. Specialty units such as SWAT or our arson bombs are available if a need arises.
The walkout is happening at all Seattle area community colleges from 10 this morning until noon. Charlie, Manda.
There will be demonstrations marking May Day in Tacoma today. They are expected to march from Tollefson Plaza to the Northwest Ice Processing Center. Speakers from the labor movement and South Sound organizations will address the crowds starting at 4 p.m.
A federal investigation is underway now into Washington State's Education Office. The U.S. Department of Education calls it a joint investigation with the U.S. Justice Department, a first-of-its-kind probe. Officials claim the state is pushing schools to adopt controversial policies on gender identity, potentially violating parental rights and female protections in sports. Superintendent Chris Breakdahl says the Education Department is distorting laws meant to protect students and turning them into mandated discrimination.
What started as road rage turned into a hate crime, according to police. This happened in Bellevue Monday. Police say a 52-year-old man followed a woman, her teenage son, and one of his friends to a gas station. This happened after a near-miss crash. He apparently was shouting racial slurs and pulled out a gun. Drew Anderson with Bellevue Police says a lot of people, including one of the boys, quickly called 911.
Because of their calls to us, we were quick to respond and to really get a hold of the situation that was unfolding.
Officers arrested the guy who threatened to kill one of the victims, according to Anderson. He faces harassment and hate crime charges.
A second arrest in a deadly shooting in Tacoma. A man was gunned down on South G Street in the early hours of Valentine's Day. Police arrested a 15-year-old that night. Now Shelby Boyd with Tacoma Police tells KIRO's Frank Lindsay they've arrested a 16-year-old boy now, too.
Are there any other suspects outstanding, or do you have everybody involved now?
At this point, the investigation is ongoing. It'll take a little while for us to, settle all the facts down and make sure that everybody's in custody for this.
And there's no word yet what led to that shooting.
7:07.
Keeping you informed since 1974.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Well, we've made it to May Day.
Yes, we have.
Thursday, May 1st.
And the pollen count must be something crazy right now.
Yeah, you are struggling. You are behind the scenes.
Allergies. Yay.
And Sully's talking about the sunshine slowdowns with the angle of the way the sunshine is getting in people's eyes right now.
Yeah, it should be just about out of that now. It's just getting up to a little bit better angle.
Well, you're lucky you're on the road because I'm here in studio with Sully, and he has the brightest shirt.
It's pretty bright, isn't it? It is the color of a highlighter.
It's basically like we are at the Hanford Nuclear Reservation.
Well, basically, this was the same shirt I was going to wear yesterday, and if that was the case, G and I would have been twins.
Oh, instead you were twinning with Charlie yesterday.
Yeah, so now I brought this in just, neon is kind of my thing, especially little...
Oh, we're aware. We are aware.
We get dressed in the dark.
I'm still learning these things.
So this helps me see my way through the closet.
No. You put your clothes out before bed.
Yeah.
So then you just grab them and go in the morning.
No. I choose
Get
and
dressed in the
through
dark.
my wonderful wardrobe.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Coming up this hour of the show, the United States and Ukraine have signed a historic economic partnership, giving the U.S. preferential treatment to Ukraine's mineral resources. We'll speak to CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland about it.
And this hour of Seattle's Morning News is sponsored by American Crawl Space and Pest Control.
7:09 now. Pierce County will limit how much it helps with federal immigration enforcement. So after that 4-3 council vote Tuesday night, Pierce County Executive Ryan Mello spoke with KIRO's G and Ursula.
It helps us really ensure that we are using our limited public safety resources for things that people want us to be spending our sheriff's deputies' times on.
Mello says it protects people from being targeted based on race or status. On the other hand, you have Sheriff Keith Swank. He says it may block his department from working with federal agents. He calls the policy illegal and urged to focus on public safety instead.
Tacoma police officers quickly jumped into action after a man crashed into a power pole in Tacoma. The car was engulfed in flames. Body cam footage captured yesterday's dramatic rescue.
Yeah, we got a guy inside. Can you climb over? Come here. Give me your hands. Give me your hands. We're going to pull you out of there, all right? Come on.
Once he was out, there was another problem. The power lines that came down were still electrified. Officers quickly helped move him away. Luckily, no one else was in the car.
In Gig Harbor, a driver hit 4 parked cars late yesterday morning. Gig Harbor Police Chief Kelly Busey says it happened at Olympic Drive.
This is the shopping center parking lot. The car was coming out of the McDonald's drive-thru.
Apparently, the driver was having some sort of medical issue. No word on their condition. No one was hurt, but all the cars had what Busey describes as significant to moderate damage.
Detectives released some new information about a car that hit someone on Highway 520 earlier this month and kept going. The crash happened just before 1 a.m. April 6th near Montlake Boulevard. State Patrol believes a man got out of his car, crossed over the barrier, and was hit by a car. Troopers say a photo shows the car may be partially spray-painted red. The car's being described as a silver 2004 to 2009 Toyota Prius with damage to the front left side of it. It's also missing a front left headlight. The photo is at mynorthwest.com. They don't have a description of the driver. If you know anything about this, you're asked to call the State Patrol.
And 3 Skagit Valley Tulip Festival farms extending their season. Perfect day to do that, right? It's going to go through Sunday. It was set to end yesterday, so now you can visit Tulip Town, Tulip Valley Farms, and Garden Roslyn through May 4th.
Hey, we have a new sports team to cheer on if you haven't heard. The Pacific Women's Hockey League announced it's expanding to Seattle. The team will play home games at Climate Pledge Arena. That's where 12,000 fans turned out last year to watch a women's hockey game. Amy Shear is a league executive.
I've talked about Seattle being the home of women's sports, and so we are looking forward to those 12,000 fans and all of Seattle coming out to see our games.
No official name yet for the team, but we do know their primary color will be emerald green.
Okay. 7:12 now. Let's get a check on weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Forecast high for Seattle today. Nice and sunny and 73. Tomorrow, a high of 69, still mostly sunny. The coolest day of the week and a chance of showers is on Saturday with a high of 55 and clouds. When we bounce back on Sunday, highs in the low 60s, mid to maybe even upper 60s starting next work week. Right now in Seattle, we have sunshine. It's 47 at 7:12.
And that's time to head back to the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. Here's Sully.
And that sun glare is really starting to ease off now, so we're getting back to normal in Pierce County. The northbound I-5 drive is not too bad now, back down to about 18 minutes from Tacoma to Federal Way. A little bit behind schedule, and it looks like we might have cleared the crash on the ramp from northbound 5 to 705 to get you into downtown Tacoma. So just a little bit of slowing around the corner there. Olympia to Tacoma is still struggling getting through the Kent-Des Moines Road. There is some definite sun glare still there coming down the hill out of Lacey and then working your way back up the hill. So it's about 50 minutes still from Olympia to Tacoma. That is plus 20. Big time delays for those of you trying to get from Gig Harbor up to Port Orchard and then maybe on up into Bremerton. We've got a crash in Purdy on westbound of 16 blocking the left-hand lane. Got about a 2-mile backup behind it. Federal Way to Seattle's running right about an hour. We've got about a 50-minute trip from Puyallup to Renton. The brake lights there getting into Pacific and through Auburn, then at the north end. And then Renton to Bellevue's got about a 35-minute trip. 18 over Tiger Mountain, really struggling today trying to get down to I-90, but that's something you guys have gotten used to with the construction there. Coming down from the north end, a little bit of braking in Marysville. Not as bad as it could be. And then we've got about an hour drive from Everett to Bellevue, about 50 minutes from Everett to Seattle. The Lake Bridges, though, are in very good shape. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Let's head over to the news desk with Katrina Gashard.
Snohomish County is getting ready to launch a new emergency radio system. It's a massive upgrade for first responders that's years in the making. The new technology can handle twice as much radio traffic and includes upgrades like smart batteries and the ability to filter out fire engine noise. The new radio system is set to officially launch on Tuesday, May 6th. And country superstar Eric Church is hitting the road this fall with his Free the Machine tour. And he'll be making a stop in Seattle. Church will be at the Climate Pledge Arena on Saturday, November 8th, and he promises that these shows will be unlike anything he's ever done before. Tickets go on sale next week, May 9th.
Okay, Katrina, thank you. It's 7:14.
Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime. Seattle's morning news, wherever you are.
Well, good morning. It is 7:15. Along with Charlie Harger, I'm Manda Factor. The U.S. and Ukraine signed an economic partnership granting the U.S. preferential access to Ukraine's critical mineral resources in exchange for a joint investment fund following months of tense negotiations.
And while the deal excludes repayment for past military aid, future U.S. assistance will count toward the fund. Ukraine retains full ownership of its resources. We're joined now by CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland to break this down. Jeff, what is the purpose of coming to an agreement with Ukraine, and what does that signal about what may be ahead?
Well, what it does, Charlie, I think is at least it establishes very clearly an economic, if not a strategic partnership between the United States and Ukraine. And as you suggested, access to resources, the United States would have preferred treatment in that regard, particularly important for the U.S. in terms of rare earth minerals, which are critically important for high-performance aircraft, ships, and all kinds of things that have a national security requirement. And also, now this agreement does not force Ukraine to face up to $350 billion in repayment. Initially, the Trump administration said they had to pay back for previous military aid. That will not occur, which would also expose them to the same kind of requirement from other countries who provide military aid. And it's also, I think, pretty explicit about Russian aggression. It talks about Russian aggression. It talks about nobody involved in Russian aggression would benefit from any kind of economic spinoff from all this, and doesn't block the Ukrainians from it accessing to the European Union, which was very, very important to them. Now, we haven't seen how Moscow reacts, but it's clearly the tone of this particular agreement, I think, is more favorable towards the Ukraine than the previous one, and certainly sets a new direction following that rather disastrous meeting between Mr. Trump and Mr. Zelensky back in February. It seems to be a derivative, a rather brief meeting Trump and Zelensky had on the periphery of the Pope's funeral there in the Vatican.
Can you explain simply how this will work? It's not like you just start mining and suddenly have money.
Yeah, the Ukrainians would have control of the assets, so they would have to say which of their assets you could actually conduct mining. U.S. companies would have preferred then treatment in terms of being the ones to conduct that particular excavation. It'd be a 50-50 deal in terms of profits from these particular excavations. And furthermore, for the first 10 years, there's going to be a U.S.-Ukrainian Reconstruction Fund established that any profits from these explorations will have to be reinvested in Ukrainian reconstruction following the war.
Jeff, maybe I can ask this in a simple way. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds to me that what is happening here is that the U.S. now has a strong economic interest in what happens in Ukraine, and President Trump is not going to like it if Russia were to take over Ukraine and say, no, you can't have that anymore.
Well, that's exactly right, Charlie, but that's sort of an implicit, if you will, security guarantee. What the Ukrainians had wanted initially, of course, they were the ones that proposed this idea at the end of the Biden administration, quite frankly, was a very explicit U.S. security guarantee that would protect them from subsequent Russian invasion should an agreement on a peace agreement be allowed to occur. This is much more implicit, very obviously, hopefully a large U.S. economic investment in operations in Ukraine, and therefore a subsequent Russian invasion would be something that would bring the United States in or threaten to bring the United States in, and that would serve as somewhat of an implicit security guarantee. And whether that's going to work or not obviously remains to be seen.
Yeah, you mentioned we haven't seen how Moscow will respond yet, but this sends a pretty strong message to President Putin, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I think it suggests that the United States and the Trump administration is becoming increasingly frustrated with Moscow's unwillingness to move forward in any kind of a ceasefire. I mean, the Ukrainians agreed back in March to a 30-day ceasefire. The Russians have rejected that. They've left the Ukrainians have left that on the table. The Trump administration has pushed for a ceasefire. Mr. Putin has responded with a ceasefire on Easter Sunday, which was violated very frequently. He has now offered up a 3-day ceasefire around Victory Day, the commemoration of the end of World War II in Moscow, very important to them. But these are, I think, somewhat cosmetic in an effort to push back. And really, Putin has shown no serious indication, to my mind, of a willing to negotiate seriously, nor has he made any concessions in trying to set the stage for a negotiated settlement. While the United States, I think, has made significant concessions, such as acknowledging that Ukraine will not become a member of NATO. Mr. Trump even acknowledged rather publicly, surprisingly, that to his mind, Crimea actually belonged to Russia, which was rather startling acknowledgement of territorial transfer in a sovereign state. But the Russians so far have not shown any willingness to negotiate, and I think this shows a level of frustration on the part of the Trump administration. And finally, the possibility of perhaps increased military assistance. The agreement calls for the possibility of increased U.S. military assistance to Ukraine would be considered investments. And one thing the Ukrainians are very interested in is their ability to purchase at least additional American air defense as they are bombarded in the last few weeks very frequently by Russian ballistic missiles.
Jeff, we appreciate you helping us sort this out. Thank you. CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland.
In other national headlines, former Vice President Kamala Harris sharply criticized the Trump administration during a speech last night. These are her first extensive public remarks since leaving office. She warned in that speech that she believes things will likely get worse before getting better.
If Congress fails to do its part, or if the courts fail to do their part, or if both do their part, but the president defies them anyway, well, friends, that is called a constitutional crisis.
Yesterday, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments regarding what would be the nation's first religious, taxpayer-funded charter school, St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual Charter School. Oklahoma's Supreme Court had sided with the state's Republican Attorney General against the school, saying it would merge church and state by using public funds to advance religious teachings. Now the U.S. Supreme Court's conservative majority seemed open to siding with the school. Here's CBS News Chief Legal Correspondent Jan Crawford.
There was a clear ideological divide. The court's 3 liberal justices united in opposing any public money going to religious schools. But the conservatives, who are a majority on this Supreme Court, seemed inclined to allow it. They suggested that charter schools are an alternative to public schools. Parents can choose to send their kids there or not.
It's 7:22, and we head over to the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk. Yes, it's you, Sully. And I'm just watching the chat on our YouTube live feed. And Jay, listener Jay, is a very close observer because Jay is wishing you a happy work anniversary today. 21 years at KIRO News Radio today.
It's amazing. 21 years.
I brought you a cake.
I know. Isn't
No,
that
I
amazing?
didn't bring you.
Oh. Well, then whose
Sorry.
cake did I eat out of the fridge? That wasn't for me. I was just thinking back of all the things, amazing things I've had the ability to do here
A lot.
at KIRO. 2 Super Bowls, the Olympics, Katrina.
Traffic every 10 minutes.
That, in the later half of my 21 years here.
Yeah?
Yeah. So
You're
it's
killing it at the
it's
Beacon
been
Plumbing
pretty
Traffic
amazing.
Desk.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I've so been excited to kind of bring the news to everybody in the Northwest for the last 2 decades. Pretty awesome. Looking at our drive right now, we do have a new crash to tell you about. This one is in the middle of the lake on Lake Washington. Not in the lake. I mean, it's on I-90. Westbound I-90 there. The HOV lane is blocked, and we're seeing a backup off of Mercer Island. It's kind of just before you start up the West High Rise towards the Mount Baker Tunnel. Not a huge backup around it yet, but that's still pretty active. Looking at over on the peninsula, we're still working with this crash in Purdy, north of Gig Harbor. As you work up westbound 16, the left lane has been blocked there, so that's been causing some significant slowing. Northbound I-5 has been a kind of a rough go from Olympia to Tacoma today. We started with late construction pickup, and then we just haven't really recovered. 50 minutes from Olympia to Tacoma is plus 20. We're getting better up the 5 Hill towards 18, and Federal Way to Seattle's about an hour. 35 of those minutes are from South Center. Northbound 405, the Renton S-curve's got about a 35-minute trip there, so nothing out of line, but it's just really annoyingly slow through the S-curves there. Behind that, the Valley Freeway's 30 minutes out of Auburn and 50 all the way from Puyallup, and we have settled into about an hour now from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, with about 48 of those minutes getting you down from Linwood. The further south you go, the better it gets. It's not too bad past about 145th on I-5 and south of Totem Lake on 405. This report brought to you by Superior Linen Service. You never get a second chance to make your first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company look good with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, and more. Visit suplinen.com.
Starting the day with sunshine. We're going to end the day with sunshine. Lots of it today. Warming to the low 70s for Seattle, warmer in the south end. Tomorrow looks nice too, mostly sunny and 68. Will cloud up on Saturday, mid-50s, and then back to sunshine on Sunday with highs in the low 60s. It's 48 in Seattle right now.
Top local stories on the way. You're listening to Seattle's Morning News.
This hour is brought to you by Beacon Plumbing.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
Well, you're getting ready every morning. Make us part of your routine.
What morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO News Radio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO News Radio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
I've always been a super athletic guy, but after I turned 40, I noticed I was slowing down. Instead of hitting the gym after work, I spent my evenings on the couch with a bag of chips. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and when I did try to work out, I ran out of energy right away. One of my buddies suggested I book a free testosterone check at Revive Health. And that's when I learned that low T doesn't just impact how guys perform in the bedroom. I worked with a provider to create my custom treatment plan, and today I'm feeling stronger than ever. Last week, I even set a new PR at the gym. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
Eric Johnson here. I covered a lot of accidents over the past 30 years or so, but I never got to say much about what to do after a crash. Be honest, do you know what evidence to collect, what pictures to take, what documents to request, or what you shouldn't say to your insurance company? The Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the roads throw at them. Know your rights and how to avoid common mistakes after an accident by getting your free copy at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Unleash your best self with an endless pool from Olympic Hot Tub, the best swim spa you can own. Now through May 15th, save up to $8,800 on an endless pool swim spa package. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
See the new phase of premium view lots at Natchez RV Resort, and they start at just $80,000. Don't miss your opportunity to get first pick. Reserve your showing now. 800-422-6009. NatchezRVResort.com.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
For many years now, Heritage Homecraft has been making stunning kitchens for the folks of Puget Sound. Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. When we resurface your existing cabinet boxes, install custom-built cabinet doors, and tailored quartz countertops, it'll transform any old, outdated kitchen into the showpiece of your home as it ought to be. All done in about a week without the mess, hassle, time, and expense of a complete tear-out. Not a national chain, your new kitchen is designed, created, and installed by a team of dedicated craftspeople who live and work here in the Pacific Northwest. Have one of our professional representatives out for a free in-home consultation. We'll bring the showroom to you and leave you with an exact quote for your new kitchen. I promise you'll be amazed by the quality and transformation. Just ask any one of our thousands of satisfied customers. If you call today, there's still time to have your new kitchen installed before summer. Call today, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
We're here with our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage, the reverse mortgage expert. Steve, mortgage rates have been dropping this year. How could that help seniors struggling to stay in their homes?
Lower mortgage rates mean seniors can now get more money from their equity with a reverse mortgage. You can pay off your existing mortgage, have extra money to help with today's high cost of living, or believe it or not, you can even buy a home with a reverse mortgage. There are many uses, and best of all, you have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
But as you always say, a reverse mortgage is not for everyone.
That's right. Avoid the high-pressure sales pitch from those out-of-state call centers. I give you a consultation, not a sales pitch. I'll tell you if a reverse mortgage is right for you, and I always tell you if it's not.
Honest advice you can trust from the reverse mortgage experts. Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts and debt consolidation specialists too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
Right now at Les Schwab Tires, it's the Best for Less sales event. Save up to $120 instantly on a set of 4 tires. Choose from a wide selection of some of our longest-lasting, best-performing tires. Plus, you'll get America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. Just another way you'll get more from less. Stop by a store or shop online at leschwab.com. Limited time offer while supplies last. See leschwab.com/sale for details.
Experience the thrill of seeing orcas and humpback whales with Puget Sound Express. Join their family-run tours for guaranteed whale sightings, departing daily from Edmonds. These are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Book now at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's May 1st, 7:31. Thanks for joining us today. What started as a road rage incident turned into a hate crime. This happened in Bellevue Monday.
KIRO News Radio's James Lynch joins us live with more.
Bellevue police say a woman with her 13-year-old boy, two 13-year-old boys in her car accidentally ran a red light just after 10 a.m. at the intersection of Factoria Boulevard Southeast and Southeast 38th Street. It was a near-miss situation involving the suspect, 52-year-old Kelly Bailey. Police say Bailey followed the woman, her 13-year-old son, and his 13-year-old friend to a gas station, shouting racial slurs and pulling out a handgun. Here's Bellevue Police Department's Drew Anderson.
We ended up arresting Kelly Bailey for harassment and threats to kill and a hate crime towards these victims.
Anderson says this is an ongoing investigation, and they ask anyone who may have seen the incident to call 911 or Bellevue Police.
Thank you, James. It's 7:32. Today, of course, is May 1st, May Day. We have rallies and marches expected around the state.
Seattle police say their top priority is to protect demonstrators and make sure everything stays peaceful. For the past week, they have monitored social media looking for signs of trouble. They say they have no reason to believe things will be out of hand. Here's SPD Captain Krista Bear, who says officers have volunteered for duty.
There are people who actually signed up to be out there to assist and engage with the community and to ensure that it's being done peacefully.
Captain Bear says the SWAT team and the bomb squad will be on standby.
Federal officials taking aim at Washington's education leaders. The Department of Education and the Department of Justice launched a first-of-its-kind investigation yesterday. They say the Office's Superintendent of Public Instruction may be forcing schools to allow boys to compete in girls' sports and use girls-only bathrooms. U.S. Education Secretary Linda McMahon says that's a potential violation of federal law. Washington Schools Chief Chris Rakedall fired back. He calls the investigation an attack on transgender student rights.
The city of Seattle has announced a new drug prosecution alternative for those arrested for misdemeanor drug use and possession. Seattle City Attorney Ann Davison says the program will provide an incentive for defendants to connect with services and complete the program steps in order to have their drug cases thrown out. Those steps include signing an agreement, taking a drug use assessment, completing a drug test, and having no criminal violations for 60 days. The city attorney's office can proceed with mainstream court proceedings if the program steps are not met.
Edmonds School Board has approved cuts for the upcoming school year. The resolution allows eliminating up to 12 certificated staff positions. This addresses the district's estimated $8.5 million budget shortfall. According to the Everett Herald, Assistant Superintendent Rob Baumgartner expects the final number of eliminated positions will be fewer than 12.
It's now 7:34, and that's time to get back to the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. Chris Sullivan, take it away.
And we've got about a 2-mile backup on westbound 16 for this crash in the left lane, trying to get you up through Purdy. It's right there kind of at the north end of the Purdy interchange. Our good friend Lloyd got off at Purdy Drive and worked his way around the west side of this. He said he saved about 8 minutes getting back on the freeway right after this crash. So that is an option for you if you're heading on westbound 16. Looking at the northbound I-5, we are still struggling through Lacey all the way down the hill into the Nisqually Basin and then up the hill towards DuPont. 50 minutes from Olympia to Tacoma. That is a 20-minute delay. Tacoma itself starting to see a little bit more braking again right by the Puyallup River Bridge. Going to check into that. That's a little unusual this time of morning. And then Federal Way to Seattle, about an hour. 50-plus minutes now from Puyallup to Renton with close to 35 out of Auburn. It is really slow from about 212th and Kent up to the 405 interchange, and then a 40-minute trip from Renton to Bellevue. Lake bridges are good now that we've cleared the crash westbound I-90 there in the middle of the lake. Coming down from the north end, not too bad in Marysville. The Trestle and westbound 2 are a little slow. Same with 204, and then hour drives from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. This report brought to you by Beacon Plumbing. For all your heating, electrical, septic, mechanical needs, stop freaking and call Beacon.
I sure do enjoy getting to do the weather forecast on a day like this.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah, sunny. 73 for a high today.
Yeah, the storms will be back soon.
Hey, listen. Sunshine, optimism, Manda.
I'm on it.
68 for a high tomorrow. Clouds 55, maybe a shower or two Saturday. It'll still be fine. And then on Sunday, mostly sunny and 61.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
That's like you, though. Oh, well, the showers are coming.
Are you calling me grumpy? And negative?
I'm saying let's focus on the positive. Sunshine and nice weather.
And today. Lollipops.
Yes, and puppies.
Yes.
7:36.
Hear it live. Stream it online. Watch the show or catch the podcast anytime.
Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
President Trump rallied supporters in Michigan on Tuesday as he marked 100 days in office for his second administration.
In his speech, Mr. Trump attacked his opponents and touted his actions in office despite a dwindling approval rating. We get more from CBS News' Ed O'Keefe.
The president back out on the campaign trail sounding familiar themes, suggesting that his term so far has been a success, despite the fact that his approval rating's on the slide and some tough economic reality.
Hello, Michigan.
100 days in, President Trump back in campaign mode, rallying his supporters in a battleground state.
In 100 days, we have delivered the most profound change in Washington in nearly 100 years.
Recent CBS News polling shows immigration remains among the issues the president scores best on, so it's no surprise he talked it up.
You finally have a president who is defending our borders and our nation.
But in a striking moment, the American president used propaganda video shot by the El Salvadoran government to show how he's deported undocumented immigrants to that Central American nation. President's milestone day came as consumer confidence plunged again in April amid concerns about his planned tariffs. But Trump came to Michigan with relief for automakers. They'll still face a 25% tariff on imported cars and parts, but not an additional tariff on other critical materials, including steel and aluminum. And in an interview, he defended his decision to impose 145% tariffs on China.
They were making from us $1 trillion a year. They were ripping us off like nobody's ever ripped us off.
The president argues his policies will end up benefiting auto workers like Scott Doody and Tabitha Noble, who were furloughed just before Trump took office. Right now, they're feeling the pinch. What does that then cause you to have to worry about in terms of costs on a day-to-day basis?
Well, just daily living, and your food went up, gas went up, our wages went down.
Utility bills have went up, groceries have went sky high.
Both agreed tariffs could eventually bring more jobs to the U.S., but there's currently uncertainty. State of the economy right now, in your view, here in Michigan is?
Not very good. Unemployment's went up. Every day, somebody's closing their doors because nobody's going in to buy anything. They can't afford to stay open.
Even with consumer confidence levels dropping to its lowest level in 5 years since the beginning of the pandemic, the president pushed back in that interview over the idea that the economy is in tough shape. He admitted there could be a transition period, would be a transition period, but said everything is, quote, headed in the right direction.
And the president continues to defend his economic policies, including the expected toy shortages for Christmas.
Much of it we don't need. Somebody said, the shelves are going to be open. Well, maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, and maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally.
At a cabinet meeting yesterday, Trump went on to say the tariffs, for the most part, have not kicked in yet.
It's now 7:39. Chris Sullivan, what's your traffic hotspot right now?
Well, we're going to go with the breaking on westbound 16 getting out of Gig Harbor. Crash there. We'll break it down for you next.
The John Curley Show, weekdays 3 to 7.
It's an exciting night at my house last night. Nick came home. She's all excited. This shirt she found was $80. So she's sitting there talking to me, and all of a sudden she goes, I can't breathe. Cut me out of it. I was like, cut you out of it? It was $80. I got it for $11. Why'd you even buy it? Because it was $80. I got it for $11. I knew it wouldn't fit, but it was so cheap.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube, weekdays 3 to 7.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign. And so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
7:43, we head over to the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk with Sully.
And we are working on 20-minute delays on northbound I-5. It is really slow coming out of the Lacey area from Cabela's all the way down the hill towards the Nisqually Basin. Our friend Jay lets us know that it looks like they might be doing some maintenance work there. I haven't been able to find it on the cameras, but it's pretty slow there. I mean, 50 minutes to get you up into Tacoma without a crash. It's kind of ugly. Sticking with that area, working way over to across the water, we've got about a 2.5-mile backup now trying to get out of Purdy, out of Gig Harbor, because of this long-term crash we've been dealing on westbound 16. Just as you kind of get around the Purdy cutoff, it's left lane causing a big problem there. The Federal Way to Seattle Drive running about an hour and 15 minutes now. We're getting closer to 40 to go from the South Center into downtown. Those last couple of miles are going to be pretty rough. Rented to Bellevue's about 45 now, getting closer to 50 as we're picking up braking into Bellevue. Behind that on the Valley Freeway, 55 minutes with 35 of that from the Auburn area. Not only heavy at 18, but really from 212th and Kent all the way up. Really heavy day there today. And also we're seeing significant slowing on 169, the Maple Valley Highway, basically all the way from 18 over to Renton, just off and on, mile slowdowns here and there with gaps in between. Coming down from the north end, hour and 10-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. And what do you know? I forgot.
It's a reminder that, yes, it doesn't get there very often, and only when it really has to.
We've hit the $15 mark on southbound 405 out of the express lanes there out of Linwood. It'll save you 20 minutes. We also just hit them on 405 northbound, and the hot lane will only save you 4 minutes. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app and stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams.
Beautiful forecast. We're going to see sunshine. 72 in Seattle, warmer in the south end today. Tomorrow, Friday, looks nice as we wrap up the week. Still mostly sunny and upper 60s. A cloudy day on Saturday, but back to sunshine on Sunday with highs Sunday back into the low 60s. Right now, sunny and 48 in Seattle.
7:45 now. We head over to the news desk with our morning editor, Katrina Gishard.
We've just learned the 3 people found dead in a Newcastle home last week were members of the same family. The King County Medical Examiner's Office says the victims include a 14-year-old boy and a 41-year-old woman who were both fatally shot. A 44-year-old man died by suicide. Their bodies were discovered in a home on Southeast 75th Street near 129th Place Southeast. Starting today, Link Light Rail users will have to wait longer for trains at night as crews work on several projects. Riders should expect to wait 15 to 20 minutes for a train on the one line. The reduction will start at 9:20 for northbound trains and at 10 o'clock for southbound trains. Some platforms will also be closed, so look out for signs at your station. This will last through May 25th as crews work on maintenance projects for safety, reducing noise, and long-term costs.
Thank you, Katrina. Coming up, GM is slashing its earnings forecast. They blame auto tariffs from the president. They say it could hit them hard, like $4 to $5 billion hard. We will speak with WWJ's Jeff Gilbert coming up on Seattle's Morning News.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You.
who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, vacation you burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist because vacation you doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
If you're thinking about renovating an attic, spending more time in your sunroom, or building onto your home, a Carrier ductless unit is the perfect solution for climate control. It's efficient, quiet, and incredibly flexible when it comes to installation because there's no ductwork required. It's just one more way we're making your home totally comfortable.
Your local Carrier heating and cooling dealer will improve your home's comfort, air quality, and efficiency. Visit CarrierNorthwest.com to find the expert near you. Carrier, turn to the experts.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Glad to have you along with us on this May 1st. I'm Charlie Harger, along with Manda Factor.
Well, General Motors has reduced its 2025 earnings forecast, warning new auto tariffs introduced by President Trump could cost the company $4 to $5 billion.
We are joined by WWJ radio reporter Jeff Gilbert in Detroit. Jeff, this sounds like a lot of money for GM.
Well, it certainly is. They'll still be making quite a bit of money, around $10 billion. But, $4 to $5 billion is a big hit to the bottom line, and it's really the first time an automaker has quantified this.
How might these tariffs affect GM's competitors differently?
It depends on which competitor you're talking to. GM is pretty exposed because they import a lot of vehicles from Asia, but particularly from Korea, and they build a lot of vehicles in Mexico. Ford may be a little bit less exposed, and Stellantis, the owner of Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge, probably a little more exposed because they're a global company.
I was watching an interview with the president yesterday where he said he is modifying the tariffs that are placed on auto manufacturers. I'm hoping you can help us understand the pause on this. And then B, the president seemed to have a statement saying that he expects all U.S. auto manufacturers will have everything built in America starting a year from now. I'm wondering maybe you can help us parse that, Jeff.
Yeah, you're not likely to see everything built in America, and it's not likely to happen in a year, but over time you're likely to see a lot more that is built in America. But everything probably isn't going to happen. Well, what the president did is, in some cases, he gave them a little more time to move some production to America, so some of the tariffs are being phased in. In other cases, he removed something that would have been redundant tariffs on top of tariffs. For example, tariffs on the steel and aluminum in a vehicle, then tariffs on top of that on the vehicle itself. So those are the changes. So they meant some adjustments, but, as you could see from GM's report today, they're still going to take a big hit.
Jeff, speaking of taking big hits, here in the Northwest, we are very dependent on trade, and we've seen some empty ships coming into the port of Seattle. People are starting to get concerned. Is there worry there in Detroit over these tariffs?
Yeah, I would say worry and uncertainty is probably a better word than worry because, there's been so many changes since the tariffs were first announced. And GM at a conference call this morning said there could still be more changes as the president works out trade deals with other countries, redoes the USMCA trade deal. So everything that we talk about is kind of a snapshot in time, and it could change by tomorrow.
Give us an idea of what the landscape looks like. If I am going out to buy a car, let's say 2 months from now, I'm waiting to do it this summer. What might that look like for me as a car buyer?
Okay. The good news is 2 months from now, car makers may be more competitive with incentives because people are rushing to the dealership right now. The bad news is because so many people are rushing to the dealership right now, you might not have a lot to choose from, and also at any given time, prices could go up. But again, prices are more than just adding on costs to consumers. If a consumer will buy something, car makers have to discount it. So it's still kind of uncertain what you're going to see over the summer. But, that's why you see a lot of people rushing to showrooms right now.
Jeff, you and I have talked about my vehicle situation before. On the weekend, I drive the big diesel F350. I love it. During the week, I drive an EV to work. If I'm an EV buyer right now, what are things looking like? Because it does not seem, at least the president is as friendly to EVs as, having Elon Musk at his side might indicate he would be.
Right, and the issue with EVs is what's going to happen with the tax credit. If you buy an EV in the future, will you still be able to get a tax credit? The president would like to get rid of those credits, and the reality is those credits aren't available for everybody because a lot depends on the vehicle you're buying and the income. So there will be EVs. Those could possibly go up in price, A, because of incentives going away, but B, because the administration isn't pushing car makers to sell them as hard as previous administrations had. So car makers won't necessarily have to put a lot of deals on the hood. They can just lower production.
Jeff, thanks for sharing some of your time with us this morning. We appreciate it. WWJ radio reporter Jeff Gilbert in Detroit.
It's 7:53. Let's head over to the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk. And Sully's watching the roads.
And we have 20-minute delays coming up from the Olympia area. It is very slow through Lacey and down the hill to Nisqually. It is a 50-minute proposition for you to get up into Tacoma. And then Tacoma up the hill from 5 to Federal Way is a little slower than it should be. Got confirmation from a couple of my Cornfeld Law hands-free highway helpers that the State Patrol might be out there reminding everybody that you need 2 people or more to be in the HOV lane. So just be prepared. A little emphasis going on there this morning. And, of course, whenever an officer or trooper pulls somebody over, that causes a little bit of a slowdown.
Well, yesterday we found the dummy in the car.
Yeah, exactly. Those are always, I give that person an A for effort. It's better than just like sticking, like a bucket hat on the seat. Yeah. But that one at least was a full looking thing. But yeah, don't do that, or maybe get an extra $200 fine for that. But yeah, HOV emphasis underway into Federal Way. Then Federal Way to Seattle, about an hour and 15. As David in the 206 confirms, it is slow going past the Michigan curb into downtown today. 40 minutes out of South Center. Looking at 45 minutes Renton to Bellevue and 35 out of Auburn up the Valley Freeway. So behind schedule on that corridor. Westbound 18 is really heavy up the hill to Weyerhaeuser Way. We had an earlier crash there that has cleared. Across the lake, we're looking at 25-minute trips, and coming down from the north end, really solid into it away from Linwood. Hour drives from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. This report brought to you by ProSculpt, the one-day permanent fat loss and skin tightening solution for men and women, offered by New Skin Med Spa in Bellevue. Book your free consultation, prosculpt.com.
Still waiting for it to warm up. Sunshine and 48 in Seattle right now, but we're headed for a high of 73 in the sunshine, around 70 tomorrow.
We're streaming live on YouTube right now, and a listener asks if producer Jonah is Robert Pattinson.
Oh, my gosh.
He looks like Robert Pattinson.
You do.
You judge for yourself. This is Seattle's Morning News.
Seattle's trusted news source, KIRO Newsradio.
Today is May Day, and Seattle police are preparing for the annual marches through downtown. It's possible more demonstrators take part this year, the first May Day under President Trump's second term.
This is Nate Connors. If things get hairy out there, I'll have you covered with traffic every 10 minutes on the 3s, all afternoon during your ride home.
Coverage you depend on. KIRO News Radio. On 97.3 FM, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Underestimating the trucking industry is one of the biggest mistakes I see victims and other lawyers make. Trucking companies have an army of lawyers and experts who act quickly after an accident to protect the company. Only an experienced trucking accident lawyer can navigate the complicated federal and state laws to protect your rights. If you or a loved one has been injured in a trucking accident, call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation or get my free book on trucking accident law at washingtonaccidentbooks.com.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it to keep the ride cool and your DIY streak high. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-885-7700. 800-885-7700.
My wife and I have been married for over 15 years, and I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after I turned 40, things started feeling different. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and I just wasn't interested in sex anymore. My wife told me her friend's husband went through the same thing, and it turns out he had low testosterone. So we booked a free T-check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that my testosterone levels were low too. We worked with a provider to create a custom treatment plan, and today, my wife and I are having more fun than we did on our honeymoon. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. CBS News has learned that Trump National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and his top deputy Alex Wong have been fired. Waltz was the man who took responsibility for setting up a Signal group chat on Yemen attack plans that included a journalist. It used to be, as GM goes, so goes the nation. Now, with economic questions swirling and tariffs on the table, we're hearing from the legacy automaker.
GM CEO Mary Barra says tariffs will cost her company $4 to $5 billion this year. They can mitigate up to 30% of that by actions they're taking in-house.
It's working on improving U.S. content, and it's being very cost-focused.
GM has already moved some pickup production back to its Fort Wayne plant in the U.S. Barra hints more of that is coming, but wouldn't give specifics. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News.
Well, citing tariffs, Xbox has increased the prices of its consoles and controllers by more than 25%. White House advisor Stephen Miller characterizes the new deal signed that gives the U.S. access to Ukraine's valuable rare earth minerals.
It's meant to pay back the United States, this is the key point, for the hundreds of billions of dollars that our taxpayers have spent subsidizing the war in Ukraine. So it is repayment to the United States.
Ukraine sought the deal to get increased American protection as the fighting with Russia drags on. Anti-Trump forces plan demonstrations in major cities today. David Minnich leads a group that's organizing rallies.
It's a constitutional crisis, and there's a lot of people, unfortunately, on the Democratic side that want to wait till the midterms. We believe that we don't have that much time. There's over 500 days now till the midterms.
A man remains in critical condition after a fall a little more than 20 feet from the outfield stands onto the field at Pittsburgh's PNC Park, stunning players and fans.
I was watching the play, and all of a sudden I saw that McCutcheon and the second baseman were looking at right center field, and I was like, and everybody else on the team was looking that way. It's like, what's going on?
CBS's Jim Krasula with more on one state's action that will affect student athletes.
In a first-of-its-kind legislation, Florida lawmakers have approved a measure requiring cardiac tests for student athletes. Any student participating in or seeking to play in school sports would have to undergo an EKG. School board members in Miami-Dade County recently approved mandatory heart testing for student athletes.
And checking Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 345 points. The NASDAQ is up 419. This is CBS News.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com.
It's 8:03. Sully is at the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk.
Well, it's such a good thing that it's such a beautiful day out there because you can get a tan while you're trying to get to work. That's how long it's going to take you. We're looking 20 minutes behind schedule from Olympia to Tacoma, 50 minutes on that drive. We had some late construction pickup in DuPont, and then it's just been heavy all morning long out of Lacey, really slow from basically the Cabela's down to the Nisqually River Bridge. 50 on that drive from Tacoma. Slow up the hill to Highway 18 as well. We've got some friendly state troopers out there reminding people of the HOV requirements. And then Federal Way to Seattle's about an hour and 15-minute trip. It's getting better up through the Kent Des Moines Road, but it is really struggling as you get up past the West Seattle Bridge. Rented to Bellevue's now 50 minutes. The Valley Freeway behind that still 50 as well. Lake Bridges, we had another crash. This one on westbound I-90 at Island Crest Way. Got out of the way pretty quickly. We're under 25 minutes for either one of the bridges now. Hour and 15-minute drives, though, from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue, and we have cleared the crash in Purdy. Hooray! The long 2-mile backup is gone on westbound 16. This report brought to you by Superior Linen Service. 98 years servicing quality uniforms, floor mats, and more. Call Superior Linen Service. They answer the phone or visit suplinen.com.
8:04. It is Thursday, May 1st, here on Seattle's Morning News. Today is May Day.
It is. Rallies and marches are planned throughout the day, including a planned walkout by faculty and staff at Seattle community colleges.
KIRO Newsradio's James Lynch joins us live in studio with more. James?
It's being called a National Day of Action. This walkout, as you said, involves faculty and staff walking out of their classrooms at 10 this morning to protest working conditions and the threat of furloughs, and they will likely be joined by students. Seattle police will be all over the city watching over a number of demonstrations on this May Day, but they say they don't expect any trouble. Here's SPD Captain Krista Bear.
We get our intel and try to determine if there's anything that we should be aware of, and we really don't have that known to us yet this year.
The walkout is happening at all Seattle area community colleges. It starts at 10 and runs until noon. Charlie, Manda?
Thank you, James. It's 8:05 now. In Tacoma, protesters will march from Tollefson Plaza to the Northwest Ice Processing Center today. Rally recognizes May Day and protests the presidential administration. Speakers from the labor movement and South Sound organizations will address the crowd. The speeches begin at 4 this afternoon.
And coming up in just a couple of minutes, KIRO News Radio's Heather Bosch will join us to talk more about what is going to happen when the rally kicks off at Cal Anderson Park.
In other news we're following today, the feds are investigating Washington's education office.
The U.S. Department of Education and the Department of Justice say their joint probe is the first of its kind. They say the Washington Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction may be pressuring school boards to allow transgender athletes to participate in girls' sports and as a result break federal laws, including Title IX. State School Superintendent Chris Rakedahl calls the investigation part of, quote, the administration's dangerous war against individuals who are transgender or gender expansive. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
And the State Patrol is testing out some new technology to alert drivers of emergency vehicles. This pilot program will be in the North Bend area. They're testing out a system called Safety Cloud. It delivers real-time digital alerts when emergency vehicles are approaching or on scene. Safety Cloud will deliver automatic warnings in the navigation apps Waze and Apple Maps. Those alerts will also appear on some newer model vehicle dashboards.
That sounds pretty cool. That's interesting. I'd be interested in seeing how that actually looks. It's 8:07.
Keeping you informed since 1974.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
We're footloose and fancy-free this morning on Seattle's Morning News.
Indeed. Aren't we always?
You gotta be footloose. How does it go? Gotta get footloose?
Everybody get footloose. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that Sully doesn't know, but he's
it seems
maybe
like
not
that
the
would be right up your alley.
Kevin Bacon fan we all are.
It is, but if I were to do it, I would start dancing. I know the whole routine from the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It gets a little embarrassing.
Okay, well, when the video feed is working a little better, we're going to have you do it. Today is not that day.
Got to get footloose.
Sully is watching the roads for us today. Jonah Oakleaf is filling in for David Burbank as our editor, and we have Katrina Gashard keeping us all in line at the editor's desk.
And this hour of Seattle's Morning News is sponsored by American Crawl Space and Pest Control.
Coming up on this hour of the show, we're kicking off a new weekly segment here on SMN. It's called Tech Talk. First up, 23andMe is going bankrupt, and your genetic data might be up for sale. We'll have Luke Ducey swing by with more.
Have we mentioned the Mariners are on fire?
Yes.
Just swept the Angels, notching their 7th straight series win, surging into first place in the AL West with an 18-12 record. Can they keep it up? Well, of course, G. Scott has a few thoughts on that, and we'll hear from him.
It is May Day, and celebrations kick off at Cal Anderson Park. That happens today at noon. KIRO News Radio's Heather Bosch joins us live. Heather, you spoke to a woman who plans to be there, and she's taking on some new and quite serious significance here.
Yeah, Seattle May Day events focus on workers and immigrants' rights. And in that latter group,
everybody's afraid. I mean, even people that have a legal status.
Hilda Ortiz says given the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration, she's heard from people who are too afraid to attend today's rally and march. She plans to represent them.
I actually asked them to do posters. That way they are represented in some way, and they actually have a voice, even though it's not going to be a present voice physically there, but they will have a voice on a poster.
And she's speaking up for those who are told if you are undocumented, go back to your home country until you can immigrate according to the rules. She says that can take years. Too long, she says, for families facing drug cartels, violence, and poverty.
They chose this because that's the only way they can save their children. And it's like, I prefer crossing the border and maybe not making it rather than staying back home and knowing that they're going to take my children and they're going to die eventually in the hands of these narcos.
And sadly, she says even being in the U.S. legally is no guarantee you can stay here. A Maryland man with a green card was swept up with alleged gang members and sent to a prison in El Salvador. A Columbia University student who participated in campus protests faces deportation, and 3 young U.S.-born children were taken to Honduras by their deported mothers. Ortiz is a U.S.-born citizen with 4 children, also all born in the USA, but as a darker-skinned Latina woman,
I currently carry a copy of my children's passport and our passport just in case, because we're in a country and a situation that we don't know if we'll be the next person targeted.
Her husband is a green card holder. Still,
we are concerned, and he carries his green card everywhere he goes.
She says immigrants are on edge.
Yes, they are. They are even afraid of leaving to work because they don't know if they'll be coming back home to their loved ones.
But the crackdown that has ensnared even legal residents has the wider community afraid.
Never in a million years have I thought that we were going to be in a situation like this.
Again, she is born in the USA. She's a citizen, and she's genuinely worried.
And Heather, those rallies get underway at noon on Capitol Hill?
Yes, in Seattle.
Okay. Cal Anderson Park. Okay, thanks for the reporting there, Heather. It is 8:11.
We now know the driver who died in a fiery crash in South Tacoma this week was only 22 years old. KIRO 7 TV's Gary Horker reports the man was from California.
That crash shut down I-5 for nearly 9 hours. According to a report from the State Patrol, the driver crashed into a Jersey barrier and then the truck caught on fire. It had been carrying kitchen appliances, and investigators say they are not ruling out drugs or alcohol being involved in this.
Body camera footage captured the dramatic moments after a man crashed into a power pole in Tacoma. It happened yesterday, South I Street, South 96th Street. The car was engulfed in flames, but a Tacoma police officer quickly got the guy out of the car.
Can you climb over? Come here. Give me your hands. Give me your hands. They're going to pull you out of there, all right? Come on.
And once he was out, there was another problem. The power lines that came down were still electrified.
Hey, lift me up a little bit. Watch these light wires. 1, 2, 3. Go. We got to get away from this car, brother.
Oh, wow. Luckily, no one else was in the car. That body cam footage is just remarkable.
Yeah, it was. Thank heavens he's out. It's now 8:12, and it's time for a check on the weather. It's brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors, a very pleasant topic for today. Sunshine and 73 in Seattle. It's going to be even warmer in the south end toward Olympia, Tenino, closer to 80. For tomorrow, Friday, mostly sunny and around 70. Saturday will cloud up with highs in the mid-50s, back to the sunshine, at least partly sunny on Sunday. Right now, sunshine and 48 in Seattle.
At 8:12, Chris Sullivan is at the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk.
And we are crawling through the Fife curve from about 54th all the way up past Porter Way. We've had some HOV emphasis going on, and it looks like we have a little fender bender over on the right-hand shoulder right around 54th, which is really making it difficult. 25 minutes again to go from Tacoma to Federal Way, which is a 15-minute delay. Once you get up through that, it's not too bad. We've got a Federal Way to Seattle drive of about an hour and 15 minutes. It's about what you've gotten used to. We're looking at about 40-plus minutes out of South Center. Northbound 167 still struggling in Auburn and getting up to the 405 corridor. Still 30 minutes from Auburn and over 50 all the way from the Puyallup area. Olympia to Tacoma still about 20 minutes slower than you might have expected. Really heavy through Lacey. About 48 minutes now to get that trip up into Tacoma. Coming down from the north end, a pretty decent drive until you get down to Linwood, and then you hit the normal stuff. We've got about an hour and 10-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. The lake bridges, though, are still in pretty decent shape. We've got some westbound slowing across Mercer Island. That's where we had an earlier crash there near Island Crest Way. We do have some eastbound slowing on I-90 as you approach the 405 corridor. That's just trying to merge in. And 18 is really slow today over Tiger Mountain. Probably about a 10-15 minute delay over even what you might have expected from some of the slowing we've had earlier this week. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Seattle's morning news on KIRO News Radio.
Well, why don't we start this new weekly feature, say?
I think that's a great idea. Luke Ducey was very excited about this and pulled us into a room and said, "What do you think about this?" It's called Tech Talk.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Luke, thanks for doing this. You worked a lot of years in tech as well, so you know a thing or two about this.
I did, and it's exciting. It's an exciting business to be in.
There's always something to talk about when it comes to tech, right?
Tech talk, baby. Hey, we are a tech region. We're a tech city here in Seattle, and there's so many topics that impact everything we do every day, from cybersecurity to AI and the cloud. How are those things changing the way we get through our day? How our kids do their homework these days? And what the heck is the Internet of Things? And what does it have to do with my grande soy latte every morning?
Now I'm confused.
All right. Well, every week we're going to explain, we're going to discuss, we're going to debate all of it.
Okay.
And this week we're going to start with data privacy. 23andMe, the company that collects DNA and tells you everything you want to know about your ancestry, your genetics, and your health. They're declaring bankruptcy, and they are selling the company, including all of your data. 23andMe has helped 15 million users around the world answer the one question we all share. Where did I come from? And since it launched in 2006, the biotechnology company has not only answered questions about the family tree, they've also answered questions like, What's the genetic probability you like the taste of cilantro or think it tastes like soap? And do you have a genetic marker associated with late-onset Alzheimer's disease or diabetes? All you have to do is order a 23andMe kit, spit into a small tube, and send it back. However, Suzanne Bernstein, an attorney with the Electronic Privacy Information Center, warns there's a data privacy problem.
On the federal level, there aren't many protections for consumers for their highly sensitive genetic data that 23andMe has.
After filing for bankruptcy in March, 23andMe is now looking to sell to another company, including all of their genetic data they've collected over the last 20 years, because it's worth a lot of money.
That data is 23andMe's largest asset.
And there's not much anyone can do to stop them, including the federal law that protects the privacy and security of individuals' health information known as HIPAA.
The HIPAA scope is very narrow. It only applies where a patient is sharing medical records with a doctor or an insurance company.
23andMe's founders created their database to gather enough genetic data to influence how modern healthcare works, to discover common genetic markers for diseases and cancers. Because they're a private company, and you, and me included, willingly gave them a tube of our saliva, they now own our genetic data. And Bernstein says they can sell it to data brokers to sell to advertisers or possibly drug companies, healthcare providers, or insurance companies.
It's unclear who will buy that and what those uses of that data could be.
Even if all you really wanted to do was just find out if you were 100% Irish or not.
It's also a basic concern about sensitive health information is being used for purposes that you really couldn't consider or think about when you first signed up, just to understand where your family might have come from.
You know, so bottom line is there is no federal data privacy law on the books to protect consumers, really. You're just trusting that companies do the right thing. And that's why attorneys general across the country, including ours, are recommending you deactivate your 23andMe account if you want as soon as possible. We're going to have a link on mynorthwest.com to take you step by step how to do that. On Tuesday, 23andMe just agreed to allow a court-appointed overseer to monitor the sale of all their data. That's brand new. And next week, there's a congressional hearing on this very issue.
I was fascinated when this first became a thing. In fact, a daughter gave my husband a 23andMe kit for Christmas. And the whole thing, the idea of it just kind of creeped me out. And I don't think he ever did it. But for this reason exactly is why I was worried.
And you should be. And in weeks to come, we think about biotech, other biotech, exercise equipment, things that monitor all that and share that information. A lot of people choose to do it. And, they don't think about it.
All right,
beforehand.
I'll be the contrarian here.
Okay, go ahead.
This is where we're headed, people.
I was going to say, if people want your information, they're going to get it.
I think if you look at the amount of information, the sheer volume of information we have all given to Facebook, we've given to Google, these companies are going to know about us. I'm not saying it's right, but that's just the way things are headed. Think about how much information gets shared on AI and the search engines, all that stuff.
It's kind of along the same lines of just assuming there's a camera everywhere now.
I don't like it, but isn't
It's
that
the way
where
it
we
is.
are, Luke?
But your DNA is different, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. I'm just being the
last
contrarian
personal part of me that you can't have.
Well, they can have it.
I think if somebody were to go by your desk right now and, swab your coffee cup, I mean, that could happen, right? I mean,
have you done that, Charlie?
Maybe I have.
Speaking from experience? Creepy.
Week one success. We're debating already. That's fantastic. But I think just real quick on the other side of that argument. Yes, I think a lot of people would agree with you, Charlie. But others would say, as far as data privacy is concerned, the EU and other countries have really strict laws in place to protect consumers and users like us. And we don't here in the States. Maybe our government needs to catch up just a little bit to give us some,
Totally get it. I'm just saying that's the ideal. Now let's look at the real world.
Totally.
I'm a huge fan of Tech Talk already, Luke.
All right.
And I really love your enthusiasm for it, and we're going to have something to talk about every week.
Thank you very much.
Sully's just giving me this dirty look. Can't believe what I just did.
It's the rise of the machines.
Well, that you cannot avoid. I'm sorry. It's happening.
Don't praise the machines on the front end.
Well, the machines just made a great picture of you today that I shared with you.
Yeah. Thank you for adding the extra 50 pounds that I didn't need to my already robust frame.
I liked the way it did me.
Sharing that. Yeah, you guys look great.
Yeah.
I look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Well,
which
that was kind of
you were
intentional.
supposed to, because you were taking on everybody.
I know.
Yeah.
It was good. there
picture.
will be payback.
And now that image is out there forever and ever.
I know. He posted somewhere internally, but I know it's somewhere. Great.
And the picture is, it's playing off the meme online right now, 100 men versus a gorilla.
We haven't talked about this yet.
Yeah.
It's like taking the internets by storm.
It's the greatest thing, and some new guys are taking credit for it.
Yeah.
But we really believe it started in the Seahawks locker room with Luke Wilson. And if you haven't seen it, I think we posted the video at mynorthwest.com. The funniest 4 minutes and 11 seconds you will spend is listening to Luke Wilson explain how 9 dudes could take that gorilla. And he explains who they are in great detail. It's incredible video. You should check it out.
Everyone needs 4 minutes of laughter in the day.
Yeah.
And this picture I had AI create is 100 people taking on one Sully.
Yeah. And I was about ready to go medieval on you guys. And I may still later. I don't know.
I'm
the
not
day
taking that challenge.
is young. All right. Thank you, Luke. Thank you for coming up with this idea. It's 8:21, and Sully, you are at the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk.
Yes, yes, I am. And we are looking at things trying to improve through the Fife area. It's still very slow. We had a little crash there right around 54th, and then we had some HOV enforcement. Still about 23 minutes to get you up to Federal Way, which is behind schedule by about 10 or 12 minutes. And then a solid drive still up past the Kent Des Moines Road, and then more from the middle of Boeing Field. Hour and 10-minute trip from Federal Way to Seattle. We're trying to get better on the I-5 corridor from Olympia to Tacoma. It's still kind of slow through Lacey. Still 48 minutes to get up to Tacoma, which is way out of line. 15 minutes behind schedule. The Valley Freeway's trying to get a little bit better in Sumner and Pacific. We still have heavy brake lights in Auburn and at the north end. But if you have about a 50 to 52-minute trip from Puyallup to Renton at this time of day, is not too bad. Renton to Bellevue, solid 50 as well. The S-curve's not really moving, and then more over the top of I-90 with all the merging getting into South Bellevue. The Lake Bridges are actually holding their own. They're doing okay, 25 minutes or less. Coming down from the north end, still over an hour from Everett to Seattle. And this is one of those weird drives where you get really heavy through Linwood, but then it kind of breaks free a little bit through Mount Lake Terrace and Shoreline, and then whammo, right around 85th, you hit it again across the Ship Canal Bridge. For 405, it's really steady through Canyon Park all the way through Totem Lake and kind of extending into Kirkland now. So delays out of the north end. So we do have a lot of work left to do to get through this commute. This report brought to you by Beacon Plumbing for all your heating, electrical, septic, mechanical needs. Stop freaking and call Beacon.
Have I mentioned I'm very easily amused? I have been sitting here refreshing my weather page all morning going, It's almost 50. It's almost 50.
Yeah.
We're headed for 73 today in the sunshine, and I cannot wait. It's going to be lovely. Tomorrow looks great, too. Mostly sunny, 69. Looks like we're going to cloud up a little bit on Saturday. No showers in the forecast, though. A high of 55 Saturday. Back to sunshine on Sunday, 61. And yes, we'll see a peak of the 70s again next week. Again, right now, sunshine and 50 in Seattle.
And I'll just point out on the text line right now, 888-973-5476.
Yes.
I agree, Charlie.
Yeah,
okay, so thank you, Annette. You are the best. And then Benny says, Charlie's darn right. So I might frame these because I think that's a first.
It doesn't happen very often,
Does not happen very often.
Only when it really has to.
So is that 100 men versus
It's
the
a
state
throwback to my choke point. Come on.
All right. Seattle's morning news continues, including the firing of a Trump administration official. The latest on that coming up on Seattle's Morning News.
This hour is brought to you by WaFd Bank.
The G and Ursula Show, weekdays 9 to noon.
Pike Place Market is going to be car-free for the most part anyway, as part of a pilot project.
This could be a fantastic opportunity for Pike Place Market.
Mayor Bruce Harrell said that he wants to make the market one of the greatest pedestrian experiences in the country.
It's just thoughtful, right? It's thoughtful to think about all of the people that would come down there.
Watch the G and Ursula Show live on YouTube, weekdays 9 to noon.
Hello, sunshine. And while you're out and about in the summer sun, make sure your bank accounts can keep up with you. Free checking with WaFd Bank can do that, and much more. No more worrying about minimum balances or monthly maintenance fees. And WaFd has thousands of fee-free ATMs and more than 200 branches to serve you across 9 western states. Plus, WaFd Bank offers new tools like voice-activated banking so you can check your balance and make transfers between your WaFd accounts using just your voice. You can do your banking while you're planting those spring flowers. You also have access to free tools like online and mobile banking, bill pay, person-to-person payments with Zelle, mobile check deposit, and full control over your debit cards to turn them on or off should they get misplaced. And you can choose from some pretty great-looking debit cards, including the Seattle Kraken and the Seawolves. So visit wafedbank.com to open your account today and find out why they were awarded Best Bank by Newsweek 3 years in a row. Non-sufficient funds charge may apply. Wafed Bank. Member FDIC.
It's time. The new phase of premium view lots at Natchez RV Resort is open. Don't miss your opportunity to get first pick. Tig, tell us about it.
Our new phase features incredible extra-large RV lots with amazing unobstructed views. And talk about privacy, nothing will be developed behind them. And these lots start at just $80,000.
Natchez RV Resort has 300 days of sunshine and year-round family fun. Pickleball, playground, dog park, miles of recreational trails. Plus, you have fishing, hunting, skiing, and golf nearby. And don't forget wine tasting. Yakima Valley has been voted the #1 best wine region in the U.S.
Natchez RV Resort also features a 4,300 square foot clubhouse with gourmet kitchen, great room, fitness center, showers, and laundry. Plus, the brand new saltwater swimming pool and hot tub are open and ready for you.
Get your perfect pick of Natchez RV Resort's premium view lots, starting at just $80,000. Reserve your showing now. 800-422-6009. 800-422-6009. NatchezRVResort.com.
This is Sandy.
It was either do this or decide to live the rest of my life in pain that was intolerable.
Sandy's hip and knees were causing her severe pain.
I'm a middle school teacher, and just walking, doing the things that, you're supposed to do was impossible.
So she went looking for help.
And I'd gone to doctors, and they said, well, you need a hip replacement and then do your knees. Nothing else you can do.
But Sandy knew there was another option. So she reached out to Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I'd heard your advertisement on the radio for quite a while.
And how's she feeling now?
I have not heard it like I did from the moment I left his office.
So what would you say to people who've just decided to live with their pain?
Just don't wait, because it's your life. You have the opportunity to get it back. Take it.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client, and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Guys, thinking about testosterone replacement therapy? Revive Men's Health can help you get started if you're ready to book your free T-check. Visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. That's Revive, R-E-V-I-B-E, menshealth.com.
Cold is sneaking in, rats are moving in, mold is creeping in, water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
And we start with national news. CBS has learned Trump National Security Advisor Mike Waltz is leaving the job along with his deputy, Alex Wong. It's unclear if this is an immediate firing or will happen later. Waltz was a Signal app user who accidentally included the editor of The Atlantic in the discussion with other officials about the pending strikes against Houthi targets in Yemen a month ago. With more details, here's CBS News' Jennifer Jacobs.
It's not yet clear exactly why. We know that the Signal situation did happen. The president wasn't happy with that originally, partly because he had questions about why his national security advisor had the phone number of a reporter in his cell phone. It was a reporter that the president doesn't particularly like or trust. So that was the initial cause of the president's angst over this. There have also been criticisms from conservative outlets, from conservative influencers about who Mike Waltz put on his national security team.
Today is May 1st, May Day. Annual demonstrations are already scheduled. Seattle police say they will have officers on hand, many of whom volunteered to work. The SWAT team and the bomb squad will be on standby, but police say they are not expecting trouble.
We get our intel and try to determine if there's anything that we should be aware of, and we really don't have that known to us yet this year.
The activities today will start in Cal Anderson Park on Capitol Hill.
In Bellevue, police say a road rage incident involving a handgun escalated into a hate crime. This happened Monday. Now hate crime charges have been filed. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch joins us live in studio with more. James?
Charlie, this was obviously a very scary incident for this family. Drew Anderson with Bellevue Police says it started with a near-miss crash just after 10 a.m. at the intersection of Factoria Boulevard Southeast and Southeast 38th Street.
The suspect, he allegedly yelled racial slurs and withdrew his firearm from his holster and made threats to kill the victims, all because of this near-miss crash that occurred.
The victims were a 35-year-old woman, her 13-year-old son, and his 13-year-old friend. They ran into a gas station where one of the boys immediately called 911. Anderson says the family did everything the right way.
Get into a safe place and then call 911, because kind of like this incident, the quicker we are there to respond, the quicker we can help de-escalate the situation.
52-year-old Kelly Bailey was arrested and now faces harassment and a hate crime charge. Charlie, Amanda?
Thank you. It's 8:33. Washington's top education agency is facing federal scrutiny this morning. Investigators want to know if the state forced schools to hide students' gender identities from parents. Education Secretary Linda McMahon says this could break laws protecting parents and female athletes. State School Superintendent Chris Rakedahl says the federal government is twisting anti-discrimination laws to target transgender students. This investigation could affect how schools across Western Washington handle gender identity. And Superintendent Rakedahl is going to join the G and Ursula show just after 9:30 this morning.
Well, SeaTac Airport continues to grow. That'll be coming up in Sully's choke point after he checks the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk.
And we are getting a little bit better in the south end. It's just going to take a little while for things to clean out, but we're back down to about 40 minutes from Olympia to Tacoma, so only about a 5 or 6 minute delay, much better than what we were doing. And all yellow on the map, not much red through Pierce County. So we're getting better up the hill out of Fife towards Highway 18, and 512 looks pretty good except for the westbound slowing approaching I-5. Then Federal Way to Seattle, also thinning out up past the Kent Des Moines Road. Still have some work to do, though, 30 minutes up to South Center, and then about 40 plus from South Center to downtown. So those last few miles are going to be the typical struggle. We've got about an hour and 10-minute trip total from Federal Way to Seattle. Rented to Bellevue running just under 50 minutes, so those S-curves are not budging like normal. You get a little gap up to Factoria, and then you hit it again over I-90. Behind that on the Valley Freeway, definitely some slowing from 212th and Kent on up, plus the stuff in Auburn. It's still over 50 minutes from Puyallup to Renton. Across the lake, need about 25 minutes for either one of the lake bridges, and still a struggling hour and 15-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. All that braking starts right around the Mill Creek interchange. This report brought to you by ProSculpt, the one-day permanent fat loss and skin tightening solution for men and women, offered by New Skin Med Spa in Bellevue. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
Beautiful day. We're going to warm up to about 73 in the sunshine in Seattle. Seattle. Tomorrow looks very nice, too, as we wrap up the week. 69 tomorrow with mostly sunny skies. And then the weekend, Saturday looks like the cloudy day, a high of 55, but back to partly sunny on Sunday and 61. Right now, sunshine and 50 in Seattle.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
Getting through the construction at SeaTac Airport has not been easy the last few years, but the long-range plan is expected to be full of dust as well.
Yeah,
Sully.
it hasn't been easy getting in and out of the airport lately with all the fun going on through the north end of the Alaska area.
All the fun.
Oh, it's been great, hasn't it? Well, we told you a couple weeks ago that they've moved the new TSA Checkpoint 1 down to the lower level, and that should open in early June, and the old renamed Checkpoint 6 at Alaska Airlines should open before Thanksgiving. But the construction project going on now is just a little glimpse of what they hope to do over the next 7 to 10 years. Of course, we have that construction at the north end being done for the World Cup in time next year. Construction on that new 4-story high-rise on Concourse C is going well. But SEA's Perry Cooper says this work they're doing now will just about max out the room that they have.
We're really getting to the point where we don't have any more place to go with this footprint, this campus spot.
The airport is only 2,500 acres. To put that in perspective, Denver International is on 34,000 acres. We just don't have anywhere to go. But the plan over the next 7 years is to add a whole new terminal building to the north of the current airport.
Really, our next opportunity is that Sustainable Airport Master Plan, where we'll have a second campus, a second terminal to the north end. That will end up relieving some of the congestion we have here in the main terminal. That's really our next space.
Now, the new terminal, parking, and access from the expressway will now all go into the current Doug Fox parking lot. That's just north of the cell phone lot next to the cemetery. There would be a walkway over the expressway to a brand new terminal just on the west side of the drive.
We would have a check-in. We'd have new parking there as well, too. We'd have a people mover connection that would connect it to this terminal as well, too. And then we would have 19 new gates that would be built just on that side of it.
Now, the buildings to the west of the expressway that are there now, like the fire department, United Cargo, and others, would need to be relocated to make this room. Now, plans are still in the development phase. Things could change. They could tie in light rail, but probably not likely. There could be new bus or, even autonomous vehicle movement back and forth between the new terminals. That really hasn't been decided yet, but you can check out all the plans, and including a really good map that kind of gets you an idea to kind of help you understand, because it may be hard visually as you're driving to understand where exactly this is going to go. You can find all that stuff at mynorthwest.com and get an idea of what the plan is of how this layout would look going forward.
Well, I wonder about Doug Fox because so many people park there. You were telling me how many parking spots are there?
1,476.
Okay, not 75.
No, that's a pretty decent number of cars. Now, what that would be used for, it would be the parking garages and the parking for this new satellite terminal. That would be self-sufficient, all-inclusive there. So, like, you wouldn't have to go into TSA in the main one and get over. You can park there. So they're going to add parking. Whether they're going to add the 1,476, I don't know. But that lot is always full. But it's the closest to the airport. So, we'll just have to see how it goes. They hope to have this done by 2032 if they get approval from the port.
I've been through the Denver airport, and I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around the fact it's more than 10 times the size as SeaTac.
Well, you have to remember, Amanda, next time you go there, when you're when you're leaving there or you're flying in and out of there, you're not connecting, how long it actually takes you to get there. How far away you're driving in past multiple runways before you actually get in.
True.
And then they have the whole satellite area for, rental cars and everything. Yeah, that's just like Dallas. You're driving and driving. You're like, they say I'm in the airport, but you're like driving and planes are still landing. It's just, they're just massive.
You guys poo-pooed my idea earlier of making it a double-decker.
You can't have a double-decker airport, Charlie.
No. I mean, what do we have? Fighter? Well, I guess we do have a lot of pilots that are former fighter pilots as pros. But yeah, I mean, that's probably not a good idea, Charlie.
What about if we did it like an aircraft carrier where they just have elevators and they lower the 747s down beneath the ground?
What'd you have for breakfast?
Oh, I like that. Or how about we just put a whole bunch of mothballed old aircraft carriers right out in front of, the water there on Puget Sound. I'm sure no one would complain about that.
No.
And we just land them there.
Yeah.
And they take a boat to land.
See, this is the kind of innovative. Man. Yeah, I'm an idea man. We'll work on this.
And before you were talking about what's reality, right? On our Tech Talk? Dude. But I like the idea, but no one's going for a double-decker.
There are no wrong answers in brainstorming, Charlie.
Can you get me on the line with Perry Cooper? I want to share this with you.
I can. I told we could do Seattle's Morning News from down there. He'd love talking about the airport.
Traffic coming up next on Seattle's Morning News.
Before taking your next flight, you'll need to be prepared. Start off with a visit to realidwa.com.
New ID requirements for travel go into effect on May 7th, 2025.
There are multiple forms of ID you can use.
Whatever option you choose, make sure you have it with you before heading to the airport.
That way, you can travel stress-free.
Don't wait. Prepare today so we can fly together.
It's your final boarding call for a Real ID.
Visit realidwa.com.
Eric Johnson here. I covered a lot of accidents over the past 30 years or so, but I never got to say much about what to do after a crash. Be honest, do you know what evidence to collect, what pictures to take, what documents to request, or what you shouldn't say to your insurance company? The Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the roads throw at them. Know your rights and how to avoid common mistakes after an accident by getting your free copy at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
1-877-CARS for kids. KARS Cars for kids. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Welcome to this week's Puget Sound Express Whale Report. The Salish Sea is buzzing right now with Biggs orcas, according to Puget Sound Express naturalists. These apex predators are on the prowl for seals, sea lions, and porpoises. In the past week alone, tours observed more than half a dozen different orca families in action. In addition, migrating sounder gray whales have been gathering in social groupings near Whidbey Island, possibly catching up before resuming their journey to Alaska. Family-run Puget Sound Express offers daily guaranteed whale watching tours departing from Edmonds. These half-day tours are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Puget Sound Express also offers tours out of beautiful Port Townsend on the Olympic Peninsula. Orcas, gray whales, humpbacks, and so much more. Don't miss out on your chance to see whales in the wild. Family-run Puget Sound Express guarantees you'll see whales or your next trip is absolutely free. Book online at PugetSoundExpress.com.
8:43, let's head over to the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk with Chris Sullivan.
And I want to thank all my Cornfeld Law hands-free highway helpers like Tony who let me know that there is a stall on northbound 405, kind of up past the landing. I'm trying to find it on my cameras. Not sure if it's still blocking anymore, but that might be contributing to why it's so slow from 167 all the way up. We've got a 50-minute drive still from Renton into Bellevue, so a little bit behind schedule. The Valley Freeway, we are looking at brake lights in and out of Auburn, then at the north end, but not too bad out of Puyallup and Sumner. So it's still a 50-minute proposition, but it is trending the right direction. We are looking at a pretty decent drive now, Olympia to Tacoma, back to about 40 minutes. Looks like we might have a new crash to tell you about in Tacoma. This one is on westbound 16, just past Cheney Stadium. So we have the backup there that kind of looks like the normal eastbound slowing, but it's westbound there. I'm not sure what lane. I'll have more for you on that one in 10 minutes. We also have heavy braking around the corner past Sinclair Inlet in and through Gorst. Federal Way to Seattle's back under an hour and 15 minutes, so that's good, but we're looking at 30-minute trips across the lake in the westbound direction on both 90 and on 520. Coming down from the north end, we just aren't relenting on that drive away from Linwood. We've got about an hour and 15-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Well, you have to love it when the forecast says abundant sunshine and 73. Tomorrow looks nice, too. Mostly sunny and 69. By the way, today in the south end, it'll be warmer, approaching 80 around Olympia and Tenino. Saturday, clouding up, mid-50s, and then Sunday, back to partly sunny skies, warming up to 61. Sunshine and 50 in Seattle right now.
And at 8:45, let's head to the news desk with Katrina Gishard.
Starbucks is looking to cut costs on its store upgrades. Bloomberg Report CEO Brian Niccol told staff the company planned to spend about $800,000 to $1 million for each store remodel. Now Starbucks came up with a new strategy to refresh stores for about $150,000. The move comes as Starbucks continues to expand its footprint around the globe. In Snohomish County, we're getting ready to launch a new emergency radio system. It's a massive upgrade for first responders. That's years in the making. The new technology can handle twice as much radio traffic and includes upgrades like smart batteries and the ability to filter out fire engine noise. The new radio system is officially set to launch on Tuesday, May 6th.
Thank you, Katrina. 8:45 coming up. G. Scott stops by. We're talking Mariners. It's Seattle's Morning News.
For many of us, it's happening. Your hair is thinning, crown disappearing. Hair loss for me was like identity theft. The solution? The simple one-day treatment that worked for me from Advanced Hair. And I'm just one of tens of thousands. Advanced Hair was recently crowned the winner of the 425 Business of the Year again. Advanced Hair begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. We've all seen the pills and lotions, those monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have, but if you're like me, you want more. You wanted your own natural hair in specific areas permanently. From Advanced Hair's groundbreaking technology to world-class Dr. Perungo, it's not maybe your hair will grow, it's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. For your free consultation, $250 off, 250 free hair grafts, call 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out. Because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This is Jill Schlesinger. May is Military Appreciation Month, and I know how much I appreciate the military. I married into a military family. I hear from so many members of the military, and Navy Federal Credit Union wants us to celebrate those who go above and beyond for us every day. If you're active duty, a veteran, or part of a military family, you're eligible to join. At Navy Federal Credit Union, the members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/celebrate. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
I'm Macy House with Baird Global Investment Banking. In today's markets, global financial capabilities aren't worth much without personal attention to your priorities. Baird Banking, Research, and Private Equity professionals are located across 3 continents, sharing more than investment expertise. As employee owners of our firm, we all have a personal stake in your success, here in the Pacific Northwest and around the world. Discover the Baird difference. Visit rwbaird.com/Seattle.
If you're thinking about renovating an attic, spending more time in your sunroom, or building onto your home, a Carrier ductless unit is the perfect solution for climate control. It's efficient, quiet, and incredibly flexible when it comes to installation because there's no ductwork required. It's just one more way we're making your home totally comfortable.
Your local Carrier heating and cooling dealer will improve your home's comfort, air quality, and efficiency. Visit CarrierNorthwest.com to find the expert near you. Carrier, turn to the experts.
Seattle's Morning News. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
And the Mariners just keep on rolling.
Mariners win 9-3 over the Angels. Mariners have won 7 series in a row.
What? 7 in a row?
7 series wins in a row.
Good morning, G. Scott.
Good morning to all of you. And they got it done yesterday over at T-Mobile Park, 9-3 against the Angels. They got it done. this is really fun.
Yeah.
And what's so fun about it is to see the players that are stepping up that really weren't having their names talked about in the beginning of the season or before the season started. You start talking about Mr. Wednesday, they call him right now, and that's Randy Arozarena. Every Wednesday, he just absolutely steps up. He's been balling. And, of course, just the team is just always somebody. And then J.P. Crawford. At the beginning of the season, J.P. Crawford's batting ninth, right? And now my man J.P. Crawford is leadoff right now. They're just on fire. And the reason why I wanted to come back in, by the way, I don't even know if I've ever come in here and talked Mariners 2 days in a row.
It's fun to do now.
It's really fun to do. So winning Mariner baseball in beautiful weather here in Seattle is hard to beat. Oh, and by the way, the sun doesn't go down until a little bit later in the day, so that makes it beautiful too. I love what's happening right now. They have a day off today. Then they'll go down to Texas to play against the Texas Rangers. Then they'll go and play against the Oakland A's, and then home against the Toronto Blue Jays back here at T-Mobile Park.
For Mother's Day weekend. I'm so excited.
And it's funny, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was thinking about self.
What are you going to do for Mother's Day?
I'm getting right back from Boston because I'm going to fly out to Boston next Friday to go see my son off to camp, rookie camp. And I'm going to fly back Sunday morning, and I'm like, you know what? Mother's Day, my wife, let's go to Mariners.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean? She'll like that.
What I've loved watching about these Mariners this year, and this is like a contrast to years past, because there have been some significant injuries, people who are on the injured list right now. And what has happened in years past is a guy goes down, and that just messes up the entire system. Yeah. And we've had these guys go down, and other people are stepping right up.
Right. You're right. And to add to that, Charlie, I've been telling people this. People keep asking me. They were asking me at the beginning of the season why I love this team so much compared to other years. And I think the number one reason is because of all of the doubt going into this season. All of they didn't address the bats. Yes, they have pitching, but it didn't address the bats. So because they didn't go out there and get someone in free agency to address the bats, they're going to have this type of season. And Manda, the reason why that connects to me so much is it is seriously just like life. People will say, well, this person is from this zip code, so they're going to be doing great in life. Or this person didn't grow up with this dad or this mom. And you never know how things are going to play out.
Yeah.
So all of the experts, and I loosely put that in quotes, all of the experts were saying that the Mariners were going to do this. Now all those same experts are saying, I don't know why this is happening, because sometimes you literally cannot measure what is in somebody's soul, in their heart. So that's why I rock with the Mariners.
All right. I woke up this morning. First thing I did was run to the computer and go, who are they playing today?
Yeah.
Oh,
Day off.
man, day off.
Day off.
I know
off.
they need rest, but I get disappointed when they're not playing.
There we go. Well, it's always good to see you guys.
It's great to have you. G was coming up on the show.
Who knows?
Yeah, he doesn't know yet. Ask Ursula.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah, just open news, boss.
Asking me what's coming up on the show, one thing. And then after I've done the show, asking me what we talked about on the show, I can't do it.
You're in the zone.
I can only talk about it during the show.
It's funny. Manda has been here a month, and she already knows. Ask Ursula.
Ask Ursula.
Yeah, ask Ursula. I'll be chilling.
Well, we don't know what he'll be talking about, but he will be here 9 to noon.
All right. See ya. So tomorrow you're going to...
I have a surprise for you.
Okay, tomorrow. Can't
All
wait.
right, bring your earplugs.
Fast Friday.
I like surprises.
Sully is at the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk.
And we have a pretty significant crash now on westbound 16 just past Cheney Stadium out of Tacoma. We got about a 2-mile backup behind it. It's the HOV lane and left general purpose lane are blocked, or were just up to a moment ago. So plan on delays trying to get over to the Narrows Bridge. Want to thank my good friend Jay. Just let me know that they have, now that the sun's out and the commute's kind of worked through, they're about to close the right lane of northbound I-5 getting into Nisqually for some road work there. So the signs are going up, and I'm starting to see some backup there again. So, construction season is in full swing. Federal Way to Seattle, we are looking at about an hour and 10-minute trip. We have the brake lights there from the the middle of Boeing Field to deal with. The Valley Freeway is getting better in Auburn, but it's still really slow at the north end. So it's still about 28 minutes out of Auburn and close to 50 all the way from Puyallup. And Renton to Bellevue's running at 50. 18 over Tiger Mountain, not really budging from the west slope all the way down to I-90. It's going to be a difficult day. And we're still seeing hour and 10, hour and 15-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. So not a good day out of the north end. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe, and you can get fresh video content daily.
Beautiful forecast, sunshine, 73 for today. Those construction workers are going to need some sunscreen. Overnight low about 50. Tomorrow, beautiful, mostly sunny and 69 in Seattle. Clouds roll in on Saturday, but back to partly sunny skies on Sunday and 61. It's 50 in Seattle right now. Did you say I've been here for a month?
You've been here for a month. Does it seem like it?
I've had a blast. Thank you.
Love having you here, Amanda. Coming up, it is the G and Ursula Show. And remember, you can always watch a show. Head over to mynorthwest.com. You can either watch it or listen live on our website. You are listening to KIRO News Radio, where it's 8:55.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
Well, you're getting ready every morning. Make us part of your routine.
What morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO News Radio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO News Radio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group. Better service and even better results.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
When we reach our golden years, it's natural to want to stay in our homes. We've worked hard for them, but as our minds and bodies age, the home can become an unsafe place where loneliness thrives. Amanda here for Care Partners Senior Living. Our communities offer safe living spaces and managed common areas with medical professionals on